Childhood trauma is barely spoken about at all, and especially not in video games. Bad Parenting embraces this whole entire idea and makes something quite unspeakable. It tells a story of Ron and his troubling home life with his father and his mother. At the very beginning, the door opens to reveal Ron's mother home late, and this seems to be quite a usual occurrence as work seems to be taking her days away and she is only home at night. Ron says that it's his birthday and his mother practically forgot, but she says late at night on good kids' birthdays, Mr. Redface comes and visits and secretly leaves gifts while they are asleep. Ron says that he will go right to bed, and this is when we get our first sight of our father, interrogating our mother for coming home late once again. The father doesn't believe this and tells Ron to go to his room and he shouldn't be eavesdropping on adult conversations. Ron agrees and goes back to his room as he was told. Ron goes to sleep and awakes to Mr. Redface leaving a present for him at the front of his bed. Mr. Redface then paces over to the cupboard on the other side of the room, foreshadowing something terribly dark in the future. In the green box on the floor was a doll, also named Ron, who also had magical abilities allowing it to speak, also dressed the same as Ron in real life. The doll promises Ron that they will be best friends from now on, and this is obviously exciting for Ron. But something seems a little off with the doll. Its neck is crooked and Ron takes note of this, but the doll brushes it off as a mistake, but surely something more sinister is the reason. The doll states that its emotions and feelings are all connected to Ron and it feels exactly what Ron feels. The doll asks to go get his toys from the cupboard, but to our surprise, the cupboard is too heavy and can't be opened or maybe even locked. The doll says it's hungry and so Ron heads to the fridge. On the fridge, Ron finds a note left behind from his mother asking him to heat up his food and to remember to take his medicine. So on top of all of this, the parental abuse and negligence from his father, Ron also has a condition requiring him to take medicine. Ron takes his favorite dish out of the fridge and heats it up in the microwave, then heads to the table where the doll states that it knows magic and can make the food reappear after being eaten. Ron is obviously excited by this and asks the doll to do another magic trick, where the doll then magically lifts the alcohol bottle, giving us a small glance at Mr. Redface, or maybe even Ron's father. The bottle then breaks, worrying Ron as this would anger his father usually. Ron asks the doll where his father is, but the doll assures him not to worry, as his master, Mr. Redface, has taken his father away. Ron goes to check for himself and finds out that what the doll is saying is true. His father is nowhere to be seen and in fact has been taken away by Mr. Redface. The doll tells Ron that his father is a bad person as he often yells, hits and slaps Ron, but Ron, as an innocent child, begs for his father to come back and says that his dad doesn't deserve that, shown by his young age that he isn't capable of processing how horrible his father is and thinks that it is normal as this is what he has always known. The doll finally gives in and lets Ron go to his father where Mr. Redface is holding him. This place is only found through a portal in the closet, but the doll's master would not approve of this. Ron listens to the doll and heads over to the closet with his father's radio, so he can connect a portal to his father and tune out the others. After the first portal being the wrong one, he tunes the radio again, opens the closet and finds a corpse laying there. Ron dismisses this and so does the doll as nothing is said about it at all. He tunes the radio again and finally the correct portal leading to his father. Going through the portal, we are revealed with a lonely, nostalgic feeling area and come across a cat, seeming to be a bookkeeper. To find his father, Ron has to describe his father and what he does. We find out that the father's name is Bruce and that his father slaps and hits him regularly, just as described as before. Eventually the cat finds it and lets him off. After walking away, 3 kids jump out of nowhere, one in a trunk of a car, one in a fire, and one seemingly to be from a hole in the ground. These are all really important later. These kids are all looking for their lost parents as well. Through another portal, we find Ron's father on the bed in a checkered room. He is completely freaked out and keeps on repeating, "Please stop punishing me." Ron then finds something called a spell on the table and is then taken away by a very large hand. Ron awakes in his parents' cupboard and being caught by his mum. His mum goes on to explain that stuff like this is quite normal for Ron as he seems to have some type of schizophrenia, especially when he doesn't take his medicine. Ron heads back to his room and sees Mr. Redface again, holding the doll up. He soon disappears and Ron falls onto the ground, passing out. He wakes up to his mother calming him down and promising him that she would take a day off of work tomorrow to care for him. When Ron wakes up, he realizes that his mum has once again left for work, breaking the promise again. And it seems that she does this very often, breaking promises. Ron goes back to his room to find his doll beaten up, all because he helped Ron find his father, something Mr. Redface would not approve of. The doll explains that Mr. Redface also took away his mother and is soon coming back for him. Ron shows the doll the spell he picked up previously, and they plan to destroy Mr. Redface with it. Going back in the portal, we see the area we saw before, but this time lifeless, with the cat gone and the kids before hiding behind a car. There was only one more thing to do: destroy Mr. Redface. We throw the card into the room and take cover with the kids behind the car. An explosion goes off and it seems that we have defeated Mr. Redface. Back in the house, Ron finds the doll fading away, and the doll explains now that Mr. Redface has been defeated, and him being his master, his life is now fading away, something the doll is relieved about. The doll then tells Ron to go out and see his parents. Leaving the room, we are back at the first night when the mother came home late. We see them arguing and the father accusing the mother of having an affair with another man. The mother snaps back and explains how tired she is of supporting the family while the father just does nothing but stay at home and do nothing all day. The father slaps and hits her with nothing better to say. The mother then states that they will be getting divorced, and if he is not gone by the next day, she will be taking herself and Ron away forever. After she leaves, the room turns dark and cold, and it seems as Ron is reliving the first day again, but showing with what actually happened, not interfered with magic. It turns out the bottle that was lifted before due to magic was actually his enraged father, and in a turn of events reveals that Ron's father was Mr. Redface this entire time. In a drunken rage, Ron's father heads over to Ron's room and strangles him, snapping his neck and murdering him. The father then stuffs Ron's lifeless body in the closet, explaining why Ron couldn't open it before when the doll asked him to. This whole time, as everything is unfolding, it is now known that this entire time, the doll was Ron all along, the knowing part of him. The part he tries to ignore, the part he tries to forget about by making false imaginations to not believe what his father actually is. He tries to protect his father, denying that he's a bad man, and he tries to convince himself that. And that is why every time the doll fails to show Ron the truth, he relives the night he was murdered again. It is revealed that Ron has been living his death for 14 days, reliving the same terrible night that happened, caused by his father. And as for his father, he is rotting away in a cheap motel room, haunted by Ron trying to save him, being punished for what he did, and this is what he deserves. And for the mother, the next morning she comes home and finds Ron's dead body in the closet, breaking down, crying. The mother goes to the police but has no idea where her husband is hiding. It is also revealed that the spell card we found previously near the father was in fact the motel card of where his father is staying, and in the mother's possession, as we threw it to her believing it was a spell defeating Mr. Redface. All along, Ron was unknowingly helping her mother by trying to save his father. The father was caught and put behind bars. Ron goes to join the other kids that were looking for their parents as well, meaning that they were also unknowingly haunting their terrible parents. One of the kids is in a hole, one inside the bonfire, and one in the trunk of a car. And it is all explained when we see Ron in the cupboard, revealing that these are all the places their parents hid their dead kid's body, where they were left to rot away. But in the end, we're all together, allowed to live their carefree lives for the rest of eternity. This was a really interesting game I found and wanted to make a small quick video on it. The game explores childhood trauma quite roughly and the fact how many kids are oblivious to what their parents really are. I hope you all enjoyed this small video and I hope you all have a good rest of your day. Adios.